I feel things deeply, and I have to make space for that person too, that side of me too. For a while, I didn't. Hello, it's Davielle. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. My mood is very somber, and so warning. Definitely gonna get vulnerable today because I'm feeling a little down. I could call it sad, but I'm actually figuring out my emotions, so we're gonna figure it out together, right? So yeah, one thing I do want to start with is by saying that I used to be this like silent crier. If something hurt me or didn't make me feel the best, I would silently go in my room and cry, or I wouldn't really want to be around anybody. And I would cry like deeply, like I feel very, very deeply. And so I never felt like people understood me. So I would always kind of keep it a secret for the most part. Because I was doing that, the only real emotion people would see is like happiness or anger. Like I would actually get really pissed off at my family. But yeah, I think for me, I'm just in a place where vulnerability is okay. Vulnerability is absolutely okay. And it's something that I actually value and think is quite important to talk about. And I didn't know I'd be in this position because on Instagram, I was getting really vulnerable and all that. But to be on YouTube, being vulnerable is such a different situation, but it's good. Right. And so the one thing that I am battling in my life, in this lifetime as a whole, is like the idea of like having friendships and relationships with people. I think that as a deep feeler, I not only feel other people's emotions, but I also feel very deeply about the people in my life, or the people that I don't have in my life, if you will. I could be in a room filled with people and still feel lonely, and I could be alone and feel lonely, or I could even be alone and feel fulfilled. It always varied with me, and I think it was always about what I felt on the inside and if I faced it or not. I think there's been times in my life where I just wouldn't sit with my emotions. I just wouldn't really understand or dissect what exactly is going on. Nowadays, I try my best to dissect it, and Brianna's calling me right now, of course, right when I start recording. See, I'm trying to be vulnerable, but it's clearly not happening because I'm distracted. But yeah, I was crying, I was emotional earlier, because I think people in general, I think about, and I like to see the best in people. And that's always been my downfall. My eyes get watery, of course. We're starting off early. Okay. Yeah, I always want to see the best in people. I think growing up with a parent that did not like you or did not really care to get to know you for you or love on you the way that you felt you deserved to be loved on as a kid, as a young adult, all that, yet still keeping her in your life was just kind of insane for me. I did that for years. No matter how much she hurt me, no matter the sexual abuse she put me through with her boyfriend, no matter the, constantly making me feel like something's wrong with me, like I'm never doing anything right, I still kept her around. And so I'm in a place in my life where I am working on that. Like, I don't want to keep people around that hurt me. Like, I was even in like a 6-year relationship with a man that cheated on me, and I took him back. And I was hurt. And there was a lot of drama with that man. And I just didn't know how to let go. And so that's when my next relationship came around, and I knew how to let go. The minute I heard about the cheating, I was like, I'm out. I'm not replaying no cycle. And I think that's difficult for me. I think a lot of times we're empowered when we leave situations, leaving my mother, leaving, my father, leaving old friendships. I used to have a huge group of girls that I was friends with. And I think it's challenging to understand that like people hurt you and people don't always have your best interest at heart. And that is hard for me. As much as I agree and I have a radar for people, it hurts my feelings. And admitting that is annoying, but it's also really good. It hurts my feelings. Like, I would rather have peace. I'd rather just have good people around me. But instead, I've had to be tough and be like, yeah, fuck them. I don't care. But I care. I do. And there are times where I actually start to not care for real because I have taken all the steps that I could take to help the situation, you know, so I'm way better now, but it still hurts my feelings. You know, it still is something that I think about often. I think even in my quiet moments, sometimes I'm just like, wow, like I've had to really change my life right now. And I just want you to know, if you relate to me, it's okay. I think it's really okay to feel these types of feelings and to sit in it and not let it fester and take over, but also not ignore them. And I used to ignore them. I used to just cry silently and then move on, or not try to get to the root of it. But I think the root of it for me right now is I'm a deep feeler. And there are situations that I go through and people that I'm not as close to, or, you know, and I'm like, wow, it really had to end that way. And as much as as empowered as I feel about my decision, I'm still in a place where I still feel deeply about it. And I still have to walk myself through it. Like sometimes I will make a decision and be like, it's done, and I know it needs to be done. A lot of times I wait too long for it to be done. Lately I'm better, like I said. But I have to feel the feelings. I have to like really sit in it and be like, oh, okay, that hurt. And I didn't always admit that. And I think it's so important to admit to yourself when you're hurt. And it doesn't mean you sulk in it. Like after this, I'm gonna pick my mood up, right? I've been watching gardening content and stuff, and I think it's important to have a balance. Like I need to go get some sun, sit outside, and breathe. But it's okay to be an emotional being, to be vulnerable about your emotions. It's just, yes, boundaries are important. And some people do not deserve to be in my life. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt, right? It doesn't mean that it isn't this thing where I need to sit and process it. How do you really feel it? How do you this? How do you that? And I think right now, certain emotions pop up, especially my birthday just passed and I enjoyed it, right? There's just little things my divine team's doing. Like I've been having like pain in my body, and a cat peed on my bed. Like there's inconveniences that happen that make you sit with your feelings. And I think a lot of times it's curated by our divine team for sure. And it's just something where I have to deal. I have to not let this just the joy take over, and it's like, oh hi, everything's perfect, but I also can't live there. And so that's the pointer. If anyone is feeling similarly, please give yourself permission to feel. Don't bottle it up. Don't make yourself feel like you can't, at least just vulnerably. There's a difference between being angry, pissed, and not wanting to talk to anyone, shutting people out. Then there's just the, whoa, this makes me sad. Holding your heart, tapping in, having that sense of vulnerability with yourself is crucial. A lot of times, no matter how happy I am, I'll still feel something deeply. Even a video online I'll watch and I cry, because that's just who I am. And I think that it's taken me a while to get here. And I embrace it now. But the point is not living there. It's actually taking a moment. If after this video I don't feel better, I need to write. You know, I need to actually be honest, but don't channel it into anger. And if it is anger, still take a moment to dissect it, because I promise you, 9 times out of 10, the anger that we feel, it's really the deep feelings that are festering. Our emotions are trying to tell us something, but channeling it into anger can do us a disservice, because sometimes we just need to cry. We need a good cry. Maybe you're like, but I cry all the time. I do too. Sometimes it's writing about it, it's talking about it to like a complete stranger. You know, there are different ways to be vulnerable and to be honest with ourselves. And on this channel, I'm gonna do my best to be vulnerable. I have my moments where I am like raw, you know, I have a lot of fire in me. You know, my rising sign is Aries, sun sign Leos. I have a fiery nature to me, but I also have moon in Cancer. I am the most emotional queen that connects to the moon. I feel things deeply, and I have to make space for that person too, that side of me too. And for a while I didn't. And so I'm working on it. I am, and you guys are gonna see me actively work on it with you all. But just talking about it right now helps me to lift my spirits. I think sometimes it's not just this specific thing and I try to put my emotions on, oh, it's because this happened. But it's like, overall, I'm just in a different space in my life. I'm overcoming challenges constantly. Little things trigger me. I just have to feel. So I took the morning into the early afternoon to feel, and now I'm going to lift my spirits. I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna talk through it in a way that I can, whether it's with people, whether it's with my divine team, whether it's with the sun, staring at the sun, like, sun, please help shine a light on these emotions. What am I feeling? What's going on? You know, like that's so important. And I just want to make space for this type of conversation on my channel because emotions are so important. We can have all those other sides, but please nurture them emotions. I didn't for a while and it hurt me to my core for years. And now when I do this, when I sit in it for a little bit and then uplift myself and find ways to connect to my emotions and not see it as a bad thing, it has saved me so much just pain and heartbreak and anger. Even I don't get as angry anymore because I'm just real, right? And so we're gonna dive deeper, but this has already kind of lifted my spirits a little bit. I have a lot of vulnerable conversations I'm gonna continue to have with you all, but I just wanted you guys to see this side. I cry. Look, I'm a crier. I will cry. But it's all in the name of like making space for every fucking side of me and being unapologetic about it because it's okay. But I'm not gonna take it out on anybody. I'm not gonna go ruin someone else's day because I'm not good with Tabitha be saying. That girl Tabitha online, she's just cute. But yeah, like I'm not gonna go ruin someone else's day because I don't feel the best. But I'm also gonna be honest. If my sister comes in and asks me, I'm like, I'm sad. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sad, and I'm gonna be real. Whereas before I used to be like, leave me alone, and it's like, oh, that does such a disservice. So if you relate, please know that I feel you. And as much as I'm here to empower y'all and to see my life and all of that, I'm also be real as fuck as best as I can. There are certain things I can't necessarily vocalize in this moment because you're still processing or there's still people involved, whatever. But I'm gonna do my best to be as honest with y'all as possible and to show y'all the real. This shit's real. I was crying literally yesterday when that cat peed on my bed, plus I injured myself briefly. Why am I going through this? It's just like, because life is filled with inconveniences. And so as much as I know that, I still have to feel the feelings. I'm not perfect, right? So tell me, are you going through anything right now? What's going on in your life? Talk to me. I would love to have a conversation with you in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things, notification bell, all the above. Let's chat. Okay, this is a safe space. I'm gonna make it as much of a safe space as I possibly can, and just know that I relate to you more than you may think. Okay. But all right, it's Davielle once again. I am signing out, but I will be back soon, and we'll see. Maybe next time I'll be so happy and giddy, or maybe I'll be angry, because fuck it, that's who I am. That's me authentically, and we gonna make space for that, right? You gonna make space for me, right? We gonna be real, right? All right, cool. Okay. All right, until next time, I'll see y'all soon. Bye.